Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. So once again, we're going to be doing another comparison of the infamous Google Pixel 4 XL. Now this phone, like I've been saying, Google sent out to me, but I haven't really been too good with my views on it. I think it's a very perplexing phone in a lot of ways. And I figured the only way to actually go and finish off and taper these comparisons down is to finally compare it against the Galaxy Note 10 as well as like the Galaxy Note 10 Plus. I mean, this is going to be a combined one. The Google Pixel 4 and 4 XL don't really have too many differences compared to the Note 10 and Note 10 Plus. So I figured I might as well go ahead and compare both of them. Now, these phones are exactly almost the same time frame really. They both were released around the same time, but there are a lot of differences between them, and honestly, there's no easy way to say it. There's obviously good things about both phones, but man, I don't know, dude. I think the end opinion is not going to surprise many of you. Now, looking on the outside, they both are very different looking phones, but still at the same time, they look exactly the same. The Galaxy Note 10, as you can see, has that hole punch display. The Note 10, the smaller base model, has a 6.3-inch display. The Galaxy Note 10 Plus has a 6.8-inch dynamic AMOLED displays on both. The smaller model has a 1080p display. The top tier model has a 1440p display. The Google Pixel 4 has a 5.7-inch 1080p panel, where the Google Pixel 4 XL has a 6.3-inch POLED panel, and that one is 1440p on the 4 XL, and honestly, that's really where the main differences lay between the 4 and the 4 XL, so from now on, I'm going to be comparing them as if they're like the regular variants for both. Now, looking at the Note 10, obviously, I think it's the better display overall. I've always felt like Samsung panels are much better, but when you actually look at it, there's obviously some weird things about that one too. With the 4 XL, it has such an amazing feature where you can actually go and turn in on 90Hz refresh rate. And so what that means is that you can actually go and get that smooth image display on the front of the display, where something like the OnePlus 7 Pro was very similar, as well as I think a new Xiaomi phone has that ability. With the Samsung Galaxy Note 10, you do not have that type of ability at all. So it's a good thing. It's kind of a bad thing for most of it. Really, the main negative part of not having that refresh rate is it saves battery life when you don't enable it. The Google Pixel 4 XL, if you enable it all the time, it kind of sucks up a lot more battery life, but both these phones have decent sized batteries, so it's really not that big of a deal, but over time it will be annoying. With the Google Pixel 4, it doesn't have really that big of a battery. The Galaxy Note 10, it really doesn't have a crazy sized battery either, but I'll hit about that when I get to the battery life side of things. Now, both are IP68 dust and water resistant. On the back, you have a triple camera setup on the Note 10, with only a dual camera setup on the 4 XL, and I'll hit on that in a second. USB Type-C on both, no headphone jacks on either of these phones, and that's pretty much it. I think in terms of the way the phones feels and everything, the Note 10 definitely feels more premium, but some people might like that rounded corner design on the 4 XL, so to each their own. But honestly, in my opinion, I do like the Samsung Galaxy Note 10. It just feels that much more premium in the hand. The 4 XL doesn't feel like a cheap phone at all. Don't get me wrong, it's a very premium device, but I feel like Google could have probably done more with the Note 10, obviously, where there's barely any bezel on it with that hole punch display. I think it looks really, really good in my opinion. However, I will say, I don't know what Samsung was thinking about with that wallpaper. That's honestly one of the weirdest looking wallpapers in the world. It makes it look like a Nokia phone from 2003. But in reality, that's pretty much it in terms of the outside. Now, going ahead and hitting on the software. Now, this is another big difference between the two. The Samsung Galaxy Note 10 was released with Android Pie. It's going to be getting Android 10 as well as Android 11. I think it already got the One UI 2, but it's going to be getting Android 11 as well. Now, at that point, I'm unsure if it's going to continue being supported. It might go for the next version, it might not. In my opinion, I think it's probably going to stop at Android 11, where the Google Pixel 4 XL was released with Android 10, the latest and greatest newest version of Android. It's very stock, there's not that much bloatware. Even One UI has some bloatware on it. The Google Pixel 4 XL did a better job in my opinion, and it's much more stock. I still think Lineage OS obviously, but OnePlus's OS with Oxygen OS is much better in my opinion. But regardless, to each their own. But in terms of longevity, the Google Pixel 4 XL will definitely outlast the Samsung Galaxy Note 10 in terms of software support. But again, there's going to be custom ROMs for both of these phones, but even at that, I still think there's going to be a larger development community for the Google Pixel phone rather than the Samsung phone in my opinion. But that's me saying it now. Maybe in the next year or two, things might change, but as of right now, I'm not really too sure. So that covers it up in terms of the software standpoint. Not too much craziness, it's basic things everybody already expected, but let's go and head on the performance and the speeds of both of these phones. Now, I'm going to preface this by saying both of these phones are extremely fast in my opinion, but I do think one might be the faster one. So all models of the Google Pixel 4 4 XL have the Snapdragon 855. The Note 10 also has that Snapdragon 855 octa-core chipsets on both, Adreno 640s on both phones, but the biggest difference lies in the amount of RAM on all these models. So the Google Pixel 4 XL on both models have 6GB of RAM, where the Galaxy Note 10 has 8GB of RAM. There's only one model of it, where the Galaxy Note 10 Plus has 2 models, and both those models have 12GB of RAM. So the Note 10 Plus has twice the amount of RAM as the Google Pixel 4, where the Note 10 has 2GB more from the Google Pixel 4. So honestly, it's up to you how you're going to determine it. Of course, I think the Galaxy Note 10 and the Note 10 Plus are going to be faster devices overall. But also the other thing to hit on is that the Google Pixel line, their software isn't really bloated heavy. It doesn't have too much going on in the background. So to some people, they might think they don't need enough RAM. They don't need that much RAM in order to load up the same apps, this and that. But honestly, in my opinion, I think the Samsung Galaxy Note 10 and Note 10 Plus are going to outperform the Google Pixel 4 XL. But there is kind of a caveat to this, and that's with that 90Hz refresh rate. In my opinion, it obviously doesn't affect performance. If anything, it might even slow down performance maybe. But the thing is that it makes it look like it's faster. It makes it look like you're having a smoother experience. With the Samsung phone, I never felt like I had that bad of experience with the Note 10 or Note 10 Plus. But with the Google Pixel 4 XL, I remember that experience. I remember using a phone that's like, oh my god, this thing is so smooth. Like, it's awesome. With the Galaxy Note 10, it just seems like a Galaxy S10 or something like that. Like, it doesn't feel like a crazy fast phone, or that much crazier than another phone that I was using, like the Galaxy S10 or whatever. All those phones, in my opinion, feel extremely fast, but I will probably tell you that the Galaxy Note 10 Plus is the fastest out of all these, followed by the Note 10, followed by the Pixel 4 XL and the Pixel 4. They're literally right next to each other. So in my opinion, in terms of performance, the Galaxy Note 10 Plus is the better one in any way you look at it. Another thing I want to hit on is the storage variants. I was talking about the RAM a lot. The storage variant maxes out on the Pixel 4 XL at 128GB, where the Samsung Galaxy Note 10 Plus maxes out at 512GB, but you have a microSD card slot on that Note 10 Plus. The standard Note 10 does not, but you have a 256GB variant model of the Galaxy Note 10, the base model. So there's only one model of the Note 10, but there's 2 models of the Note 10 Plus, but that Note 10 Plus does support microSD card slot. So very crazy. I don't know what Google was thinking. They should have improved the storage variants there, but I guess it's whatever. Hopefully they'll fix that with the next one. Now, moving on to the cameras. The Note 10, they're all kind of the same thing. They have 2 12-megapixel sensors, as well as a 16-megapixel ultra-wide sensor. You have a telephoto lens as well, but you're able to shoot 4K at up to 60 frames per second. Very good camera sensors, in my opinion. Probably the best ones in the market right now. People are saying the 11 Pros are better. I think they're very good still, but if I had to pick one, maybe the Note 10 in my opinion. But that Google Pixel 4 XL has 2 camera sensors, a 12.2-megapixel and a 16-megapixel telephoto lens, so no ultra-wide sensor on that. However, the weirdest thing is, you're not able to shoot 4K videos at 60 frames per second, where you can only do 4K at 30 frames. Now, the iPhone 6s that came out forever ago can shoot 4K at 30 frames, so I don't know what they were thinking. In my opinion, I think they could have probably done better, especially for a phone that prides itself on its camera. Google should have stepped back and improved that as much as they could, and they kind of did, but they kind of didn't at the same time. In my opinion, I think Samsung really has a better camera here, but I think the quality of the photos and the still images are better on the Pixel 4 and the 4 XL, but I just think the overall cameras, especially when you factor in the features, the abilities like 4K at 60 frames, and that telephoto lens as well as that ultra-wide sensor, that definitely kind of gives the edge to the Note 10 Plus in my opinion. Now, hitting on the battery life, again, this is where things are a little weird. The Google Pixel 4 XL has a 3700 mAh battery. The Google Pixel 4 has a much smaller battery than that, where the Galaxy Note 10 has a 3500 mAh battery, and the Note 10 Plus has a 4300 mAh battery. And what that all means is that the Note 10 Plus is going to have the best battery life out of all of these, followed by the Google Pixel 4 XL, followed by the Note 10, and then the Google Pixel 4, the base model of that one, is going to have the worst battery life in my opinion. Now, the coolest thing about this is that the Note 10 Plus and the Note 10 have an awesome feature of reverse wireless charging. So what this means is that you can actually go and reverse wirelessly charge, let's say, a Google Pixel 4 from one device, where you cannot do that from the other way around. So you cannot use your Google Pixel 4 and charge a Note 10 from wireless charging. You can actually not do that. On the Note 10 and Note 10 Plus, you have that ability, which is really, really awesome. And one of the coolest features that we've been seeing on newly released phones, Samsung has really been priding themselves and been doing this, and that's what I love so much about them. It's not like the craziest feature in the world. I don't even think I'm ever going to use it, but it's an awesome thing, and I'm really glad they're at least pushing some boundaries. Phone manufacturers still aren't incorporating into it, which is kind of funny and kind of weird. They're kind of just biting themselves in the foot, but regardless of my opinion, I think Samsung definitely wins in the battery life department. And if you've been keeping track, I'm pretty sure you can tell that Samsung has pretty much been winning in every single category. But another really cool thing about the Note 10 and Note 10 Plus is the S Pen, and it's one of the coolest things about the Note line. That's why they call it the Note line to begin with. I think now I don't really see too many people even using their S Pen that often, but it's definitely a useful feature for those of people who want to use it. But whether you want to use it or you don't want to use it, the ability is there. With the Pixel 4 and 4 XL, you do not have that type of ability, which is kind of a weird thing, but again, it's up to you whether you're going to use it or not. Another huge thing, Note 10 and Note 10 Plus have fingerprint sensors. They're built into the screen. Some people might feel a way about that. The Pixel 4 XL only has that Face ID unlocking feature. So again, kind of an unnecessary thing. If you think about it, they should have put a fingerprint sensor somewhere on the 4 XL. I feel like a lot more people would have liked it. So I think that's another plus for the Note 10 and Note 10 Plus. And honestly, I think in the brand new market, the Note 10 Plus costs the most. The Note 10 costs the second most. I think the Note 10 and Pixel 4 XL are almost the same price. But the thing I want to hit on is that the Note 10 and Note 10 Plus have been on the market for a while. So without a doubt, the Note 10 has depreciated a little bit. I'm not going to say it's depreciated a ton, but it's depreciated at least like $100 or $200 here and there. So I'd recommend you guys, if you're wanting to pick up a phone between these two, I would recommend a Note 10 or Note 10 Plus over a Google Pixel 4 XL or a Google Pixel 4, in my opinion. You're going to be getting a better phone overall. There might be some cool things about the 4 XL. The software updates is the big one, and the 90Hz refresh rate, but literally every single other category, the Samsung phone, in my opinion, has won so far. So if you want to pick one up, if I find links for them on Amazon, I'll find the cheapest ones and I'll link them down in the description below so you guys can get them straight for there and help support the channel at the same time. But that's pretty much it. If you guys have any other questions or anything, leave it down in the comment section below. Hit that like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. Every single subscriber that we get really does count, so it means so much if you guys could hit that. Also check out the other links down in the description as well. My Twitter, my Instagram, my second channel. All those links are linked down below. I'd really appreciate it if you guys could check it out. But more importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.